Powered by the Montana Television Network. The KPAX 530 News starts right now in high definition.
Good afternoon, I'm Jill Valley.
And I'm Dennis Bragg.
A Trout Creek man accused of a 1997 murder has been cleared of all charges.
MTN's Don Fisher joins us now in the studio with what is next for 49-year-old Richard Raugust now that he has his life back. Don?
Jill, Dennis, Raugust was charged with the murder of his best friend Joe Tash in 1997. Prosecutors and law enforcement believe that Raugust murdered Tash at a campground following a night of drinking at a local bar. He was convicted after a lengthy deliberation in a 1998 trial, but continually maintained his innocence, attempting to appeal the ruling on his own before learning about the Montana Innocence Project in 2009.
It was either that or me somehow coming up with $1 million or so to put my own legal team together, and I was trying, but it wasn't working as fast as I wanted.
This was a scene from a courtroom in Thompson Falls back in 1998. Raugust could barely hold back the tears as he was accused of murdering his close friend, Joe Tash.
They weren't friends. They were best friends. They were brothers. They hugged each other. They shared all their belongings. They had lived together. They had worked together. They had partied together.
Prosecutors claimed Raugust tried to set Tash's camper on fire after the murder. He received a life prison sentence after a Sanders County jury found him guilty. But 4 years ago, the Montana Innocence Project appealed his conviction after new testimony by a sheriff's deputy was released. This supported Raugust's alibi that he was not at the campground at the time of the murder. Last winter, a Sanders County judge overturned the case, saying Raugust had been denied due process because of this new testimony. He was released after serving 18 years in the Montana State Prison. The state appealed that decision until now. Sanders County prosecutor Robert Zimmerman decided to dismiss the original charges, making Raugust a free man for good. Innocence Project attorney Brent Scandelson says overturning convictions is easily the most difficult task a defense team can take on.
This case is unfortunately not that unique. These kinds of things happen way more than we'd like to think, and we're finally getting this into the public conversation. Thank you for being here to be part of it and getting word out about Richard, his story, and ultimately the problems inherent in our criminal justice system.
Now that Raugust is free, he intends to jumpstart a career with his greatest passion.
I'm going to try to get my writing career off the ground officially, or a little more officially now. That'll be taken a little more serious because when you're in prison, a lot of times, if you don't have an in with somebody, the publishers and presses don't really take your work quite as serious, you know.
Raugust has had some of his poetry published already and will continue to support the Innocence Project through public appearances. And it took the Innocence Project over seven years and 3,000 volunteer hours to clear his name, and they say that's about the average time it takes for a case like this. They receive about 3 requests per week by prisoners throughout the state to take on their cases. Jill?
All right, Don, thanks. The Montana Innocence Project was formed in 2008. This is its first successful exoneration.